And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
Well, hello to everyone, and welcome to the Weighing In podcast, where my man Josh Thompson is going to tell you everything that just happened at the UFC, and I'm going to sit here and say nothing because I didn't watch what was going on from the UFC. I'm just kidding. Yes, I did. So we could compare notes, and we had all kinds of things happening. There was some really good fights. I just lost one of my bets, but I won one of my other ones with Bet US, so I'm okay with that because I actually won the one that would have made me a lot of money.
Oh, man.
And so, feeling pretty good about it. How you doing? You get a little sick, a little under the weather there, sir?
A little sick.
What's happening with this healthy body thing that you're all into? This doesn't happen when you're old, just living on farms.
I'm trying, man. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I have a headache, and my sore throat's kind of come around the last day and a half. I didn't have a sore throat when it started. Got some phlegm. So I'm gonna do what every one of our listeners wants me to do, because I'm gonna be a little bit quieter this show.
Just shut the hell
up, Josh. Man, I thought I was on a roll tonight. Sorry, guys. I thought I was on a roll tonight. I thought Ricky Turcios was going to pull it off. He had some moments. I told you,
Rosas was going to win.
I told
you. You didn't listen. You need to listen to me.
Man. You said Cannonier was going to win.
I did. He was winning.
It was a close fight, though. It was a close fight.
It was exactly what I said. Is look, if Cannonier pushes him back and makes him fight going backwards, that's how he wins the fight. And if he doesn't, then it's going to be a different fight.
I mean, John,
in the end,
we were looking at the odds, and the odds seemed pretty close at the time that we had kind of done our betting odds. You know, like Nasruddin Imavov was at a minus 135, and Jared Cannonier was at a plus 105. I actually had him at a minus 105 when I did my bet, with him. So, he was at minus 105, and then Nasruddin was at a minus 125 when I placed my bet. So, I thought Cannonier was going to be able to get it done. I kind of took a little bit of what you were saying, and he was going to have the pressure. He was going to be able to press him around, and he flung him to the ground in that first takedown. He was like, he just grabbed him to the fence, and then he just kind of foot swept him, but just threw him down.
Big brother.
Yeah, he just threw him down. I was like, man, this is not going to go well for him if he starts getting tired. Nasruddin Imavov. So, but man, Imavov looked good. He looked.
Give him credit though.
He looked in shape. Ready to go.
He looked relaxed.
He took some big shots.
Yeah. Took some big shots and handled them well. You know, sat there touching his chin like, go ahead. I'm like, that's not the way. You don't want another one.
That's not the way, man. That's not the way. But that usually means something hurt you earlier.
Yeah, that hurt. But he actually, I thought he fought really well. You can tell he's in that point, Josh, where now he has stepped up to the next level. Yeah. He's into that. He's in the top 5.
Yeah,
he's there.
Well, he will be now,
where he wasn't in the past, but he absolutely is. His last 2 fights, he's really looked good. I'm gonna be honest. I love Jason Herzog. He's my friend. You stopped it a little too early, dude. And you want to protect Jared, but Jared is a professional fighter who is in the position of this is a fight that can get him back to a title contention. Yeah. Just off of this one or maybe one more, and he's looking at his opponent. Yeah, he's running away at times. That's a good thing. That's not something you should be upset with. That's something you say, that's smart. I want you to try to move away from him. And as long as he's looking and he's trying, and he had just thrown a shot, you got to let him go. You cannot keep them from being hurt. This is his profession. You got to let him go in this. This is not your normal fight. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you've got to, I've learned this over the years of working with you and then talking to a lot of the refs, Brian Miner, even Herzog, talking to all the guys and just having conversations about okay, why'd you let this one go? Why'd you not let this one go? And, it's because, look, where you're at in the card makes a difference. If you're the first fight on the prelims of the prelims, you know what I mean? Okay, we're not going to let you take as much damage, as we're going to let the guy in the main event. The guy in the main event's earned the right to be in that main event status, and we're going to allow him to try to fight out of every position possible. He was still on his feet, still kind of covering his head. His hands were kind of covering his head.
He had never hit the ground.
No, I get it. And then the other thing too, do you guys ever take into consideration, I know he's 40, but dude,
No.
you don't take into age at all, right? Like thinking like he'll never get another shot at the title. He'll never have another opportunity.
He's not going to. He just lost.
Yeah, he just lost it. So right now he'll just be somebody that's kind of floating around that number 6, number 5, number 7, somewhere in there. And
6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. He's a stud though, man. He's
Yeah.
a stud for 40 years old.
he
He's
is.
fucking rocked up. He looks
Oh my
amazing.
God.
He looks amazing.
He is absolutely put together, man. He's got 3% body
Yeah.
fat. If that, I mean, it's just crazy as far as you're looking at him. And he's still, his hand speed is there. He was landing the jab when he was throwing the jab. He was landing it. He was doing well with, his movement. As long as he was moving his feet, he was doing well. It's when he stood and John Crouch picked it up. When he would stand and keep his feet planted, he was having a problem staying with Imavov in that situation. It's like, you got to move your feet, but yeah, I looked at it and I go, I feel bad for him. I really do. Because, and he said, I was moving, and he's right.
Yeah.
And that's what we ask him to do. That's one of the things. What I don't want you to do is just sit there and become a punching bag. And he wasn't.
Yeah.
He wasn't doing that. And so, we all in that position, we don't want to see that nail put into that last nail into the coffin, but you can't stop if it's going to be, in this type of situation, he gets hit with a shot that puts him down. Okay, stop the fight. But he had never hit the ground, and he was still trying, and you got to let him go in this. Just my opinion.
I think the speed was the biggest difference. Imavov, once he figured out the kind of the herky-jerkiness of Cannonier, he started finding his target a little bit more. And then every time that Cannonier started landing the kicks, he was countering with the right. He was making him pay for every time he tried to throw the calf kick. You can tell they were adding up. And so Imavov was like, I got to find a solution to this. Otherwise, he's going to just keep
How did you have this? How did you have the round scored?
Which round? Are all of them the fight?
All of them.
I had it.
Three rounds have been scored. Who'd you have ahead?
3.
I saw the one thing came up and it said they had Cannonier ahead 29-28.
Yeah, I did too.
I had him behind. I had Imavov up.
Did you?
Yeah,
I
2 to 1.
I thought Imavov
2-1. Yeah.
Thank you very much, George. Yes, 2-1, 29-28.
Which way?
2 judges to 1, John.
Oh, okay.
Look at this guy, a little feisty today,
I like
huh?
it, dude. He's a fighting
Damn,
back. That's the way to do it.
Shaves a
baby.
beard, all of a sudden turns to
Yeah,
fucking
don't
Dagestani and wants to start
not-
fighting everybody.
He's not taking anything.
You guys will know who this guy is.
This guy. I want to change his face. I thought the speed was the biggest difference, man. Cannonier had a hard time with the speed. Once Imavov started pulling the trigger more. You could tell he was a little afraid of getting bullied around a little bit in the beginning. And I think after he kind of broke a sweat and kind of fell,
He got big brothered in that one,
did.
though. And I can understand when he was like,
oh,
damn, he's
yeah,
strong.
it's like, what the hell just happened? Just got thrown to the ground. He fought a very smart fight. He looked composed out there. He flowed really well. His movement was good. He was striking off the movement as not just standing directly in front of Cannonier. I thought he did everything brilliantly, man. And I'm looking forward to seeing, like, I was leaning that way towards him going into the fight.
You were.
I was. And then, then we did our Bet US picks. And I was like, you know what? I think Cannonier is going to have the cardio, though. Because I do recall, we were talking about
He's got good cardio.
Imavov getting a little bit tired. But it looked like Cannonier was the one getting a little bit tired. But then you have to also remember, 40 years old, John.
Well,
I mean, it didn't matter how hard I trained at 38, 39 years old. It just didn't feel the same in rounds 2 and 3 as it did when I was 26, 27. You know what I mean? It's just, it's different. It's a different feeling. And
you know what I say about old people fighting, dude?
I mean, you can look the part. It doesn't mean that you're in great shape. Look at those bodybuilders, man. They can't even fucking walk to the mailbox without getting tired. But they look like they're in phenomenal shape.
Yeah.
So, what's that guy that always
that
does
muscle.
Brennan's show? Bradley Martin.
Oh, Bradley.
Yeah,
Martin.
I heard him.
I think he just fought with Logan Paul. That little,
Sounds like Logan won because Logan was the one kind of
a little
leading the
get
dance and
together
conversation afterwards.
Oh,
Logan's
I
got a
don't
little
think
bit of
so.
wrestling. Bradley doesn't have anything.
Yeah.
He's got muscles. I didn't realize that Logan was that big because Bradley's a big dude, and Logan was like a little bit taller than him.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
Logan's a big dude.
Yeah, interesting. And Mayweather smacked him around. Psh, psh, psh. 142 pounds or some shit.
Just he made Mayweather walked him down.
I know. That's just
That's
crazy.
the part that you go.
That's just crazy. When you're that damn good of a boxer, you're walking around a guy who's 225, just pot shotting him, going, "Come here, bitch. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here." I thought overall, though, I thought it was a good fight. I thought it was a good fight.
It was a good fight.
It was.
And like you were just saying, but hats off to Nasruddin. It was a really good performance against a really good fighter, a guy that's tough, and he just systematically started taking that fight over. I had Cannonier win the first round, and then Imavov just started slowly getting better and better as the fight was going on. Looked great.
Before we move on to the co-main event, I want to remind you guys this episode is brought to you by BetUS. I want to thank you guys so much.
Michael Vick here at BetUS.com. Get it all. Huge bonuses, great odds, a race book, live in-game betting, and a casino. BetUS, my online sports book and casino.
Use our link down below in the descriptions, and you guys, please use that link, and that'll take you guys to where all the best betting odds are available at BetUS. So I want to thank you guys for continuing to support us and follow us and all those things. George and I have been talking. I talked about it last week. We're going to also open up the memberships on here. We haven't figured out a price point yet, but we're going to do it probably right before the Chandler and Connor fight. But we're going to keep it reasonable, guys. I'm not going to be charged. We're not going to be charged. I heard a lot of people are charging like $9.99 and $12.99. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? I don't know. So, but also too, with our memberships through YouTube, we will be giving away like some signed memorabilia or, some t-shirts from Weighing In, hats, whatever. We will be doing giveaways on that. If you guys are a member, it is a monthly membership. So you have to resubscribe to the membership every month. So, just want to get you guys ready for that and let you guys know that's what we're doing. And I'll be doing some lives, hopefully with John as well, here and there. But I'll be doing some lives, usually for the co-main or the main for the pay-per-view events or some big-time main event fights. All right, so the ones that I seem to be really interested in, so I'll probably do that, and you guys can join us for that as well. So there will be some content on there, some extra content for you guys through our membership account. So hopefully you guys hit that up when we start it, turning it on. All right, thanks guys, and let's go ahead, man. John, I got to be honest, man. Dominick Reyes versus Dustin Jacoby. I was so happy for him.
So was I.
I literally
absolutely. I felt bad for Dustin, but I'm super happy for Dominick.
Yep.
It's been almost 5 years. 5 years, man. That's rough on you. It's rough on your mentality as far as being a fighter and everything.
You want to get that thing off my back? It's the monkey off my back.
Yeah.
Get that off my back.
That's a big ass monkey.
Yeah,
that's a silverback.
I just felt so. I was like, look, I've never really been a Dominick Reyes fan. But I got to be honest.
Yeah, I was, because watching him as an amateur and because of Joe Daddy and stuff, I was like, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a good fighter. And he was doing so well for so long. He's undefeated. And then all of a sudden couldn't get a win.
Yeah. I never was really like a huge fan. I was like, he's good. He's just a big guy. And, like, is he really that good? And then I saw his fight with John Jones, and I thought he won that fight. I think a lot of people did.
So did I.
But that being said, then he didn't get any wins after that. He got his win now. But I was honestly happy for him. Watching him celebrate, you could just tell that he was like a huge stress relief. He's also getting married.
Thank God.
He's also getting married, knowing that there's a bonus check, possibly a knockout bonus. Man, I mean, like, if you're a human being, like, you wouldn't want anything better for somebody. Like, you're getting married, like, you had 4 losses or, 4 or 5, I think 4 in a row. It's like, man, I'm happy for you, man. You could just sell the sense of relief. He got up on top of the cage, and he just like laid back, like, thank you.
Yep.
It was like,
oh, thank
just
you.
relief, just such relief. Yeah. And I couldn't have been happier for him, man. And I don't know him. I never met him. But I'm happy for him. I could just tell to see the joy in his face. Like, man, thank you. Thank you. He was like, thank you, Jesus. Thank you.
But he looked really good. Mm-hmm. He was countering well. He was doing a very nice job of movement. Dustin was trying to cut him off and trying to, set him up. Mm-hmm. He was being smart, and he was countering, and he was countering well. Yeah. And when he hurt Dustin, and he did, you could see him get stanky legged. He went after him, and boy, I mean, he went after. Yeah, he did. It was like, well, this is my chance. And I thought bringing up the knee was really well timed, well placed. And just as you say, really good to see someone get that monkey off their back and be in that position where they can enjoy the sport and enjoy what they do again without having that pressure of, oh my God, I've got all these losses in a row. Nope.
Yeah.
You're on a win streak now, baby.
I know. And, now the funny part is he's going to be like, okay, wife, no honeymoon. Okay, I'm going to fight again as fast as I can. Once you get that win, you want to get back in there and do it again because you want to just build on it. And being active is a very important thing. It's hard. Most guys, what they'll do is they'll lose and they'll take, a year off, or 8 months off. And were you in the gym really training, getting better? Were you not? Like I give it, if you got knocked out, give your brain some time to heal.
Sure.
But like if you got submitted or something, like get back in the gym, work more on jiu-jitsu, but just focus more and zone in on what you got to get done. And but most guys are like, oh, I got to change camps or I got to go here. They want to mix things up. They think there's something wrong with what they're doing. No, it's not. There's nothing wrong with what you're doing. If you've had success and all of a sudden now you get a loss, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. Okay, you just made a mistake. Something happened in the fight and it cost you. And don't go change it, man. We had so many guys that would come into the gym. Brunno was one of them. Every time something went wrong, it was like, I want to go to.
You got to admit, Phil's a good guy, but he was a head case.
Yeah, he was, but
all the time about everything.
But John, like it was always like when he got the Frank Shamrock fight, he literally was like, oh, AK's, like who have they really built? Who have they done? And then he went and trained most of his fights over at Extreme Couture. He's like, oh, it's better over here, and he tried getting some guys to go. And then, he didn't have success in the Frank fight. And then he came back, and then he had a couple fights over in UK where I had to corner him because no one wanted to go with him. And it was George is over here laughing. But he had some success over there. Like, and then all he did was talk about AK is the best ever and this and that. You know what I mean? Like, that's exactly what he said. The best ever.
Fighters are fickle.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are.
So.
But John, overall, I thought that was a great breakthrough for him. I'm glad that he got it, and
absolutely,
Dustin will obviously be back. But that was a sad upset for him. The next fight, Raul Rojas Jr. versus Ricky Turcios.
Man, this is one of those ones. It's like Turcios. Rojas comes out to like touch gloves. Turcios basically shakes his head and kicks him.
Beautiful.
That's like, I know. And then look at that guy, and you can tell all the fans in the crowd didn't like it. Oh, okay. I know who I'm rooting for now. So at that moment, Raul Rosas Jr. got 15,000 new fans. Yeah. Or however many were not knowing which way they were going to go. They knew they wanted him to win. And I thought he did a really good job in the fight. He's young. And for him to go fast and try to finish things fast is normal. And I think he learned from his one loss. He took his time. He was taking some shots there. Turcios was hitting him to the back of the head a couple of times. He was doing some things that you look and you go, you're pushing the envelope.
Minor details.
It's just one of those things. But he just kept after him and continued to just do the right things. He was looking for body position before he was going after anything. He got in trouble a little bit, and stuck it out there with, putting up with the attempted choke and everything. Got to the second round, and when he got the back, dude, beautifully done. One of the things that he did that, they didn't talk about it, and they should have. Once he kept bringing his hand over the top of the head, finally he slides it, and you watch his chin go over the top of that hand. Now it's locked. It's not going anywhere. His head and chin is holding that position where the hand can't be pulled out. And that's what made it to where, he's done. Yeah. He's in trouble. He's going to have to tap or he's going to go to sleep. And I thought it was well executed, a really good performance. And you can see, many times I say it's not a good thing. I was just with Justin Gaethje, and we were talking about, his fights and him coming up through the World Series of Fighting is where he really got all of his fights in early. And he said, I'm so glad I wasn't in the UFC early. And it's tough. And this is one of the things that someone like Rosas is going to have to figure out is you're going to face hard competition throughout your career. It is not an easy thing to do. And you've got to learn not only from that loss, and I know he did, you got to learn from the wins too. make sure that you go back and see the things that you could have done better or you made a mistake in and work on those things. But he's looking good, and the kid is obviously talented.
Yeah, I agree. Look, I thought Ricky was going to be able to pull it off. I thought he would slow him down. Yeah. He would just be too much, like too aggressive for Rojas Jr. Yeah. And I thought
I can understand what you think, and he's got a hell of a pace.
Yes, he does. He does. I thought he'd lose the first round, which actually was a very close round because he had the submission that was close. You know, he had the rear naked too. You know, lost the position towards the end, but I thought it was a fun fight. It was probably one of the better fights of the night. That
was a good one. It really was. You know, there was a couple of good ones in there.
When I did my betting odds for this, I put together the parlay, and I took Ricky Turcios.
You always do parlays.
I do.
That is, you want to win. You want to win big.
Yeah,
money.
I do. If I'm going to bet, I don't want to just win $40. Who gives a shit about $40?
Why? $40 is dinner.
No, not for you. I've seen you eat. What are you talking about? You're like on this carnivore diet, and you're like, let's go to the steakhouse. There's not a steakhouse around that's $40 for a steak.
No,
not the ones we go to. Jeez. John's always like, you owe me a steak. Let's go to the fanciest place around.
Let's go to the most expensive
Gibson's
place
in Chicago or whatever. What was the other one? Fusion something, or what was it called?
There was Fusion. There was also the
Prime Provision. Prime Provision was what it was called. That place was called super salty, which is why you liked it. You know,
my God, it was.
But I mean, I went with Cannonier and I went with Ricky Turcios because the odds, they were both they were both dogs. All of them were dogs. But then I also went. Who else did I go with on the other one? What was it? Oh, I went with Soriano. That was a good pick. I didn't realize. Yeah, Soriano had the gas though to go the distance. I know we're bouncing around in here, but all of this.
The only thing I was concerned with my Soriano pick was, all right, he's going from 185 to 170. Yeah. How is the weight cut going to affect him? Yeah, he'll be strong. Yeah, he doesn't have to deal with bigger guys because he's not that big a guy anyways. But how will the cut affect him? And he looked fantastic.
I thought he looked fantastic. I thought he looked great.
Oh, dude, what a fucking ass whip!
Yeah. Let's go ahead and hit up some of the other fights. What is going on?
Brunno Ferreira against Dustin Sholtzfus. I'll tell you what, I really was impressed with Dustin because Dustin, I said, he's got to get him down. He's got to wrestle. And he was going after him for the takedowns. He was using his hands to try to get into there, but that damn spinning elbow hit him square in the noodle. Mm-hmm. Man, that hit him right there. It was like, oh, that hurt.
2 times.
But the second one was just freaking perfect.
I mean, if I was to do that to Keto George, just face down, ass up. Sleepy. Oh yeah, little jiggly cheeks. Sleepy. I like those. Did they give you a nickname when you were a baby, like Cheeks or something? Like you know how Aaron Pico had the nickname Cheeks?
No, they called me Baby George.
Baby George?
Yeah, just Baby
George. I bet
George.
you weren't a small baby, were you?
No, I was 11 pounds, 6.5 ounces.
Good.
Oh, that a boy.
Fucking.
That's like my youngest grandson. I call him Cheeks.
Jeez, man.
First I called him Takayama because he looked like Takayama when he was born.
Oh Jesus.
Oh my God, look at that head.
That was back when you had hair.
Yeah. Same chin though.
Oh, same chin.
Yeah. But now I call my youngest grandson Lucas. He's Cheeks because he's just got big old freaking cheeks.
George, are you Asian at all?
We've been over this. No,
we've been over this.
Asian? Yeah, I'm not Asian,
bro. Because when I smile, bro, you and I have like really small eyes. Like people, like if you guys don't know, my wife is Asian, and so people are always like, bro, like when they see my kids, they're like, oh, your kids got your wife's eyes, and I start laughing. I'm like, she's like, no, they got your eyes because my eyes are so small when I smile. So it's just funny. George is always smiling, so you got them little tiny eyes. That's funny.
Little tiny eyes.
But look, Brunno, man, he was getting bullied around a little bit in that first part of that first round.
Yeah, he was.
He was getting bullied around, and I thought Sholtzfus, if he would have just fought a little bit smarter, I feel like in the second round, because you could see Brunno was starting to get a little bit tired. You know, was kind of making a couple little mistakes. He was lunging in, kind of dipping his head the same way. And then I thought that he just Sholtzfus just kind of got a little overzealous. I guess I would say he started chasing it too much, wanting the knockout too much. He wanted the finish, and then he left himself open for some big shots. And after you take one or two, man, he starts every little shot after that has an effect on you. You know, like when the
What'd you think of Bruno's call out?
Who'd he call out? I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
Bo Nickel.
Oh.
Let's put judo against wrestling. I go, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, you better be able.
We'll see.
You better be able to get up off the bottom. I don't think that's a good call out.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they'll give it to. I don't think they'll give it to. Yeah, they probably. I think they probably would. They might.
Nah, really?
Maybe not. Next fight: Julian Marquez versus Zachary Reese.
Man,
all 20 seconds of it.
Yeah, and this was one of those ones. I mean, the odds on this one were Julian was a big favorite in this. Zach Reese, and I thought, I've watched Zach Reese before, tough individual and stuff, but I was wondering how Julian would do coming out of the MMA lab where Benson Henderson is now teaching still, and John Crouch and Rob Emerson. I thought it was a great place for him to go. Was interested to see how he's doing. He just got touched.
Yeah,
he got hit with a big shot, and the fight got stopped. And shit happens, but it was fast.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're dealing with guys that have power, John, like you just don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah. Well, normally it's Mr. Marquez, the Cuban Missile Crisis, which because he's got missiles for his hand. He's used to knocking people out, and just unfortunately in this one, he was the victim.
I almost felt bad for him at the end.
Big win for Zach Reese.
He looked a little like I was watching him in the center of the cage. He just looked like belittled. Like, what the hell just happened?
I think I looked. I did the same thing. I was looking at him, and I was getting that feeling that he's looking out there like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Should I do this again?
How old is he?
I don't know. I can find out.
Yeah, can you look that up, George? How old is Julian Marquez? John, you know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at
34.
30.
He's only 34.
A baby. She's got plenty of fight left in him. He's got another 4 years.
Yep.
John, easy. I've noticed that when I start pulling up the UFC schedule on ESPN, they start listing all these other fights that are supposed to be on here. Like Alex Perez is supposed to fight Tatsuro Otara. And
that's coming up.
Yeah, they merged it next week and this week's together on accident, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I was like, what is going on? Why are we jumping around so much, John? I was like, what's going on, man?
I can't tell you.
Can't tell me.
All I know is I'm buying my pay-per-view early.
Are you?
So I can save $10.
Well, I mean,
I saw it. I was like, well, shit, I'm buying it anyway, so I might as well save the $10.
Do you buy it really? Oh, okay.
Yes, every time.
John.
Every time.
I give you the little wink, wink, wink.
Nope, I do.
No, I know you do. I've seen the bill.
It's a write-off.
Yeah, it is. It is a write-off. I know.
Because of this podcast.
Yes, it is.
God bless it.
Yes.
That's right.
See, John, I'm taking you places, buddy.
There you go, man. You're helping me out.
Those of you guys that don't know the story behind Big John and I getting together on this, I had to convince him, and I begged him for like 2-3 weeks to do the podcast. And finally, he's like, "I'm like, look, if you don't want to do it, fine. I'll just, go find some other good ref.
I'll find someone
some
better.
other good ref, And then
you just said I'll go find someone better.
I didn't say better. I said another good ref. And then they all turned me down, so I went back to you.
There you go.
No, that's good. Let's go ahead and go with Miguel Baeza versus Punahele. It's a
Punahele, Soriano.
good fight, man.
I'll tell you what. Miguel Baez showed that he's got just fucking big giant brass balls because he's stuck in there. He took some big shots. When he was trying for the leg locks early, he was taking some hard shots. But he kept going after him, and I thought when there is the possibility of you getting it, I understand why you're sticking with it. And so I don't think that he made a mistake in that, but I do think that scenario changed the course of the fight where he was unable to respond later on. I think those shots absolutely affected him and just put him in a position he could never fight his way out of.
I'm going to critique both these guys in that leg lock position type stuff. Is that Baeza, he could have came on top from that position.
Yeah.
And he chose not to.
I thought he was going to.
He chose not to. Like, you should have just came on top. Look, I know the reverse heel hook is the most dangerous submission in the game. At least I believe it is.
Inverted heel hook hurts.
Yep. So if you can hit that, that's great. And but I just started noticing that his head was too close to the cage. The availability to get
the
to
cage stopped him from being able to complete all of it. You're looking, you got nowhere to extend.
And so I was looking at him like, okay, look, if you're not going to be able to really get it, you've tried 4 or 5 times already and you've taken some shots. Let's go ahead and push the leg to the other side and maybe go like to a basic leg lock, or Achilles lock. And if you can't get that, then just use that to come right on top. Like, you got to learn to transition one to the next. I would always go, I know a lot of top level jiu-jitsu guys that would just go, they'd go basic leg lock and they'd push to the other side. They'd lay back and push the other side, go reverse heel hook. And then off the reverse heel hook, they'd sit up into that top position into like a 3/4 mount or to a KC position. And they would just transition that back and forth always. Leg locks are meant to be done quickly. And if you don't get them quickly, then get back on top.
Almost like it's a surprise attack. And that's because you're catching someone in that moment where you can get that position, you can put pressure on it, and they instinctively know, it's starting to hurt, and I got to get out of this, or I got to tap. And it does. It has to be almost like a surprise attack when you're doing it.
Yeah, I mean, I learned so much leg lock stuff, like back when there was Frank Shamrock at the gym. Bob Cook was really good at leg locks. He was nasty on the toe holds and the heel hooks. I mean, we had to outlaw him in the gym, for a bit because people were getting hurt. Like, it was like, we were crazy. Like, when we first.
Yeah, dude, you're talking about, we didn't allow inverted heel hooks. We didn't allow, if you did a heel hook, you can't crank it.
Oh no, we were getting after him. It was like,
yeah.
I mean, but it was. I understand what you're saying. Like, it's just not something you should be messing around with.
It's not worth it.
But we were young and didn't understand. I was young, dumb, needed the money, that kind of stuff. So, but I thought Baeza definitely tough. Soriano though, same thing. Like, there was moments there where the reverse heel hook was there, but he could have also tucked his right leg underneath him. Like, tuck his right heel to his butt and just sat up into him and then figure forward his legs so that the reverse heel hook was gone. But instead stayed there trying to fight the hands. I understand.
Well, he also got stuck when he got stuck in the armbar.
Yeah.
You're looking at certain things that he's doing and you're saying, crush the space. Yeah. Don't let him extend the hips. If that means put your knee in the middle of his face right now where it's at and put pressure down with that, put all that weight down on him. But it was like he was waiting. I'm like, well, he obviously knows what he's feeling.
That's what the difference is.
You're waiting. You can be waiting to that point where all of a sudden now he's extending and it's a problem.
You wouldn't believe how many times I was cornering some AKA guys and they were like, and they shot for a leg lock. They thought they had it. They didn't get it. And I said, get out, get back on top. No, I'm safe. 2 seconds later, they're tapping. And they just fucking.
Yep, I'm safe.
Yeah, they're like, no, I'm good. They literally, one of them gave me a thumbs up. I'm good. And then boom, 2 seconds later, he's tapping.
I love the thumbs up was always one of my favorites. Yeah, I get people, they're in a choke, right? And they put their thumb up, and all of a sudden they're out.
It's like dropping slowly.
Yep, that's it. That's like, oh yeah, yep, you're good.
Doing wonderful, my man. Doing wonderful. That's so funny. What other? Let's see. Go to the prelims. Sorry, they mixed all these cards.
Ludovit Klein up against Thiago Moisés. Look, Ludovit Klein he looks good, man. He's got speed. He's got power in his hands. His grappling has really improved. He's competent on the ground. It's not like he's in trouble if he's down there. He's looking great. He's 22-4-1, man. Like, he's in that position. He's going to start moving up in towards that, position of being in the top 10 and taking on the very best guys there are.
What does Thiago go from here?
I don't really know.
I don't know either, John. I mean, that's kind of where
it's one of those where you look and he can fight, man. He really can. He's talented. But he's not fighting. And I'm going to say, I think it was from basically the Arman Sarukian match is the one that I'm looking at to say. I think it was Arman Sarukian. What was the fight that he had?
He fought Islam also.
Yeah, I fought Islam, but was it an Islam fight or was it? Maybe it was the Islam fight. I'm sorry, it wasn't Sarukian. It was Islam, and then I know he fought Benoit Saint Denis. and that was a problem. He got hurt in that one too. And it's like, hasn't been able to do the same things.
I think he fought
Hasn't been
Sarukian as
able
well,
to-
though.
Did he
I
fight
believe he
Sorokian? I was
did.
thinking he
I
did,
believe
but
he did.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I believe he did. I get confused on like because he's so talented, and I'm looking at the lightweight division. I'm a big Bobby Green fan, but I could see him beating Bobby. You know, RDA.
He already
you see
beat
him?
Bobby.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's,
you know what I mean. Saint Denis, he won't beat. Jalen Turner gives him problems because of the reach and the range, but I think he can beat Dan Hooker.
yeah. I don't.
You don't think so? Like, I guess my next thing is, and that's no disrespect to Dan Hooker. I think styles make matchups.
Yeah, absolutely.
Moisés, though, is like, I just remember him wrestling a lot more when he first came onto the scene, and now
He did.
there's no wrestling.
He did.
What are we doing? Like, I feel like that's a lot. Like, it's a lack of coaching, or
How often have you seen fighters? You know, I was just talking about this with certain fighters recently. You're not sticking with what brought you to the dance. You've learned a new set of skills. You like those sets of skills, but that's not what brought you to this dance. That's going to help you stay in the dance, but don't give up on what brought you.
yeah,
And you're seeing it more and more. You know, MMA as a whole. I hear all this stuff about the grappling. You know, and they need to give more advantages to grappling as far as put them back in the same position at the start of a round and things like that. It's like people want to be in the striking. More people want to strike.
yeah.
They don't want to be in the grappling. It's too much work.
Yeah, it is. It's a ton of work. It's disgusting.
Disgusting.
I hated it. Like it was, like I felt comfortable on the ground. It just was a lot of work. Like it.
That is.
It's if you're on top doing the damage, that's great. But when you're on bottom, fucking being the nail, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
It's just you hate
absolutely.
it. You hate it. Like I'm just going through
Having the
here.
pressure on you.
I'm just going through here from Moisés, right? Like you've got Fazeev, you've got Dariush, you got Max Holloway who's in there, but going back down to probably 45. Moicano.
Yeah.
Then you got Chandler. I mean, that's kind of where I'd probably put him in the limit at. Like I'd say Dan Hooker is as far as he could probably go. He's got to either change his training camp. And I just said something about like, oh no, you don't got to change anything, but he's not, he just hasn't gotten any better since coming in the UFC. You should be getting better almost every single fight. Now you'll have a couple glitches here and there. But he hasn't been performing at the level that we've seen him perform before in the past.
Not in the past.
So I don't know what's going on with him, but he could be a wasted talent. Something that we've seen happen to a lot of fighters. But let's be honest though, John. Let's see Moisés. Klein looked fantastic. He looks physically strong. He had some good wrestling. He had a great
fast.
Had a great takedown.
Just,
like
yep.
Good top position. Like he was doing well.
And he looked like he was having fun. Yeah. And that's part of it. It's like, hey, if you're out there, have fun while you're out there. Enjoy what you're doing. And he is. And he looks great. Mm-hmm. And I'm in that position. I really want to see him against some of the top elite fighters in that weight class because he looks good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We saw a lot of bodies. We saw a lot of body shots tonight. Like knees.
How about
knees
this next one?
Bodies.
You want to talk about a knee to the body?
That's why I'm bringing it up, John. So you can lead us into it.
Carlos Prates against Charles Radtke. Oh my God!
Trying to give you a segue into the next fight. John's
you did it beautifully, and I just wrecked it for you, and that's what I do.
Jeez, John.
But Charlie Radtke, man, he was looking good in the fight. He was doing well, and a knee to the body absolutely obliterated him, and I can understand that happened. It's totally acceptable, but it's not something you want to have happen to you.
Like you see how fast that they drop. It just paralyzes you. There's no like, let's go ahead and dance around and try to shake it off. No. It doesn't work that way.
But when you see someone take a knee like that and survive it, and they're kind of they're going backwards, but they're not going down, and you go, oh dude, you are tough as shit. You are tough because I know that freaking hurts. I know right now you're not breathing. It feels like someone's got a freaking dagger that they're jiggling in your guts. It's a horrible feeling.
It's disgusting.
It's disgusting.
It is, man. It is.
Yeah, it is. It's bad.
I thought Prates looked good, man. Looked good.
He did.
I mean,
really did.
You know,
He used his length well. You know, moved around real well, and the knee he landed, just fantastic. Brad Katona taking on Jesse Butler, just kind of ran through him.
yeah.
Just ran over him, ran through him. Katona is one of those guys that, you know, look, he's good. He's good at what he does. He very much reminds me of Sean Shirk in that he can take you down and he can control you on the ground. He's not that guy that's going to be exciting.
No.
He's just not. That's not his style.
Better change that up, buddy, if
he's
you ever want to
good.
make the main show.
But he's good, and he can beat a ton of people. You know?
Well, better start changing it up.
All right, let's talk about a fight that was good. Montana De La Rosa against Andrea Lee. I thought it was a fun fight.
Yeah.
I thought they were both going after it. I thought it was exciting, you know, all the way to the end. It went to a split decision, and Montana got the call. How did you feel about
I felt pretty good
it?
about
That
it.
was right.
I thought De La Rosa. I thought the kryptonite was going to be that Angela Lee wasn't going to be able to get up off the bottom, and she has learned to kind of.
She did a couple times.
Yeah, but she's also kind of learned to concede the bottom sometimes. When she gets into full guard or kind of in a half guard position, she doesn't really fight a whole lot to get back up to her feet. Only when she's against the fence does she start trying to work her way back up. In open mat, I don't know if she just doesn't know how or what, but there's no real emphasis on focusing on getting up.
Well,
I mean, you got to make those adjustments.
that would be one of the main reasons she got
Yeah.
the bad end of the split decision.
I don't know, John. You see fighters with potential, right? And you want to cheer for them. You want to say, "Hey, you've got it." But then they get a couple wins. You're like, "Okay, now I'm behind you. I'm cheering for you." And then you just start seeing them fall off. Like they think that whatever they did the first two fights is going to continue working for them for every opponent, and that's not the way this game works. It's a mixture of martial arts because you can be beaten in so many different ways, and if you don't train every single way, you're going to lose. You've got to be good at everywhere. Like, look, Khabib was never the best striker, but he was adequate enough to get himself through, and not take a lot of
into range to utilize his wrestling and get people down.
Yeah, and then his submission game never got the credit it deserved because he just pounded people's faces in.
I was going to say it's because he didn't use it that often.
He's like, I just want to change his face. Those type of things he meant it. He meant it. So I thought De La Rosa deserved to win. I'm a big Angela Lee fan, but I don't think she did. I don't think she did enough to win the fight.
No, I thought it was the right call. I thought Montana was the one that should have won the fight. But it was a good back and forth. It was entertaining. It was fun to watch.
Yeah. Next fight.
Daniel Marcos taking on John Castaneda. This fight was one-sided.
Yeah.
For the most part, Daniel Marcos just had his way throughout. There was a couple moments where Castaneda did something good, got the takedown, things like that, or landed a good shot, but Marcos just kept on coming back right out of it and just absolutely ran away with the fight. So,
John, this fighter here, Denise Gomes, she surprised me. She surprised me when she fought Mora.
Absolutely.
I was surprised.
Yeah, I thought
I like
she took her own. She looked good.
She fought a great fight. She fought composed. I thought Gomes, she was able to stuff all the takedowns after the first round. She made Mora tired, exhausted. She made her work for every takedown. I would have liked to have seen her get off a little bit more. I did like what the commentators were saying. Laura Senko was saying, and same thing with Paul Felder. Aim for the chest. Stop aiming for the head. Start aiming for the chest. Start throwing more uppercuts. Because every time that she would pressure right before she would throw, Mora would try to just drop her level and just try to shoot. And she'd get in deep, but then, Gomes just was able to defend, but there was a lot of scrambling. There was a lot of wasted energy. So neither one of them had a lot of energy to really strike on the feet. Luckily for Gomes, she had a little bit more relaxation on the feet, was able to land a little bit more cleaner shots. But man, she could scramble. I was like, holy shit. And then Mora, she's obviously someone that she's fighting at what, 115? Yeah. At 115, but apparently she missed weight. So I don't think she's made the weight, is what I understand. So it might be time for her to go up. She looked enormous, John.
Yeah.
She looked enormous. So when I saw her next to Gomes, I was like, wow, they don't even look, they're obviously not the same weight class, but they are. So, when we went through that phase with the jiu-jitsu female, what's her name? Mackenzie Dern. Remember her? She couldn't make weight.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, she couldn't make weight at 125.
Now she's fighting 115.
Fighting 115.
That's what happens. That's what happens when you have a baby. See? You have a baby, and now all of a sudden you can lose all that weight. Good job. Good for her.
Looking good.
Good for her. There we go.
I did not see these last two.
Okay.
I was working, so I don't know if you did. If you did, you can talk about it.
Yeah, I did. Look, there wasn't much missing. Taylor Lapalus, he just kind of dominated Cody Stamen. It was kind of he's just so slick, so smooth. The reach advantage, the speed advantage on the feet. He was just making Cody second guess everything he was doing. Cody was getting hit with the knees up the middle because he was having to reach and lunge in to try to close the distance, and he couldn't get it done. So once he realized that he had to be careful shooting because the knees were coming up the middle, it just nullified. They stalemated all of his offense. I didn't see the very first fight. I saw like bits and pieces of it in the beginning, but that's about it. Well, hey guys, that's going to wrap up our UFC Fight Night talk and conversation. And John, is there anything else you want? There's nothing really else for us to talk about. We're gonna do this.
Well,
we're not gonna.
There was the PFL Europe.
Okay, you watched that. Okay. I wasn't able to watch.
I watched all of them, 14 of them.
Gosh, painful.
And I will. There is one thing to bring up here as far as the main event of that was Savannah Marshall, who is a world champion boxer, and Savannah Marshall she's the only person that's got a win over Clarissa Shields. That was as an amateur, and then Clarissa beat her as a professional in a very close fight. But the reason that Savannah Marshall signed with the PFL and came into MMA is the PFL told her, well, if you come in and you win a fight, we'll give you a fight with Clarissa Shields. She wants to fight Clarissa Shields again. So she had a fight with Morella Vargas. She did a lot of training with Tom Aspinall and his crew. And I really give her credit, man, because she got put into some bad spots. She got put into not a good arm triangle, but you know what? It's pressure. And when you're not good with pressure, not used to the pressure, it can panic you and make you say, I got to get out of here and tap out. She framed off very well when she got taken down and got herself back to her feet where she could use what is her skill set. And so really give her credit for having the stones to put her boxing gloves to the side and put on an MMA pair of gloves, take the shoes off, be barefooted, which is completely different. Yeah, it's a weird feeling and stuff for them. And she went out there and she got her first win, and she's basically going to have her fight now with Clarissa Shields. So there'll be 2 world champion boxers fighting in MMA.
Good.
But it should be good. It should be good. Little 4-ounce gloves. I want to see which one shoots first.
The first time walking out into the cage or the ring with no shoes on, I felt homeless. I felt like I was a homeless man. You got people all around you, like looking at you. Almost felt like they were judging me because I was barefoot. So, and for boxers, they always wear shoes. Wrestlers, same thing. So it just feels different. Everything feels different. So good for her. She got the win.
She got the
win. And so her and Clarissa Shields.
Very nice.
Good for her. Good for her.
But there was also another female out there that her name's Chanel Dwyer. And she is a young, like 22, 23-year-old from England. She's with basically a Great Britain top team, which has got, if you remember, Brad Pickett.
Oh, yeah. I love Brad. So, the one punch pikey.
One punch pikey. Got Pickett. Ash. Man, I'll tell you what. She looks like a young version of Angela Hill, as far as, but she's faster and better.
Wow,
dude, she looks good. Her stand up is slick, and she absolutely is a sniper. She won with a head kick that was beautifully placed, beautifully done. Just, she's going to be something. She's going to be fun.
Well, how's her takedown defense, though, John?
I have no idea, because the person that was trying to take her down did not get even close.
How's her grappling, John? No idea.
I don't know. And I said she reminded me a lot of Angela Hill as a young Angela Hill. You know, now Angela Hill is really goddamn good at her takedown.
Yeah, she's really good.
Fantastic.
Anybody else on the PFL you want to chat about?
No, that's good enough right now. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. There was a fantastic fight between Mark Ewan, who is from Scotland, and Claudio Pacella. Man, I'll tell you, Mark Ewan was undefeated going into this. He's slick. He looks beautiful on the feet. Great technique. And Claudio Pacella is just a dog, and the dog won.
Oof.
And he deserved to win, because, man, he took some shots, but he landed some big-ass shots too, and just showed freaking just big balls.
Yeah.
Big fighter heart, man, and went after it. And this is a guy that was, you know, training in Italy, went to SBG, has now won his last couple fights fighting for SBG, because his training is really coming into effect, and he's looking better and better. And it was a great fight.
Interesting.
So, that's it.
Interesting.
We're done.
All right, hey, that's going to wrap up our fight weekend talk, and hopefully you guys enjoyed that. And I want to thank you guys so much. Look, before we leave this, though, I want to remind you guys, we're sponsored by Element. If you guys like their product, if you haven't tried their product, it's a fantastic product, okay? There's no sugar involved. If you guys drink liquid IV or any other type of electrolytes, there's no sugar in Element. They also sell a sparkling version of it as well. Hit the link down below. Head over there. If you guys use our link to purchase, every single time you purchase from our link, they will send you some freebies. They'll send you freebies. They basically will send you a bonus package of something if you buy one of the mixtures. Yeah. And it's a great product, man. I endorse it 100%. I enjoy using it. I use it nonstop. Like today, my son had 3 lacrosse games. It was 95 degrees today. He had all 3 of them. If you guys are not familiar with lacrosse, they play them literally back to back to back. They get like maybe 30 minutes between each game. And so I had him, you know, taking some Element. It's got 1,000 milligrams of sodium. It's got, I want to say, like 400 or 600 milligrams of magnesium. It's got potassium, like 200 milligrams of potassium. But look, bottom line is, it's good for you. Staying salty is really important, especially in the heat coming up this summer. So make sure you guys stay hydrated and stay salty. Also, this whole episode was brought to you by BetUS. Well, thank you guys so much. And John, take us away, bud.
For everyone out there, hope you enjoyed the UFC. I hope I don't know if any of you really got to see the PFL from Europe, because it's mostly in Europe. But for everyone out there, thank you for tuning in to the Weighing In podcast, and we will see you.